Hello, welcome to How She Made It Summit. We're talking about what it really takes to become a wealthy woman. And I am so excited. And I know I say this all the time, but I'm absolutely super duper excited. Actually, I'm going to share into the gallery view so you can see us both. For the lovely Minette Riordan. She is a true entrepreneur. We have known each other for about a year now. She has an incredible podcast. And I'm so excited about what she's going to share with you about becoming a profitable business. Her business is called the Path to Profit Academy, and she specializes in helping entrepreneurs to really tap into and use their creative genius. And you can see her beautiful paintings behind in the background there. She's an incredible artist. To create a business by focusing on ideas that will actually create money and profitability in their business. So welcome, Minette. Thank you so much for being part of this. And I'm just so excited. You've interviewed me and now I get to interview you. So share a little bit about your business, who you serve, obviously, and also your journey to getting to creating this business with you and your husband, Brad.
Awesome. Thanks. Thanks for that beautiful introduction and for having me on the show today so excited to be part of this summit. And those were lots of great questions. I'm trying to decide where to start. So I think I want to start with my story and then I'll tell you how I got to the Path to Profit Academy. So for 11 years, I owned a publishing company based in Dallas, Texas. And I had a parenting magazine and put on big expos. And from the outside, everything looked great. We were successful. We were grossing lots of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But I really sucked at managing that money and really understanding the numbers inside of my business that would have made us profitable, would have made the company sellable for a decent amount of money. All these things, I just didn't know what I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know that coaches even existed. It wasn't common or popular back then. And I didn't even know who to ask. And I was 5 years into that business before I had someone really say to me, or just ask the right questions. I think so. It's so powerful, as a coach, having someone ask you those questions that you just go like, duh. Because we don't know what the questions are to ask. And I was part of a business mastermind by this super smart guy in Dallas named Steve Strauss. And Steve showed us that every business has a business dashboard where there's really only about 3 specific numbers that you need to pay attention to in order to predict the profitability in your business. And I was looking at my numbers all wrong. It's not that I wasn't looking at them. I wasn't looking at the right numbers. And it was one massive mistake I was making in my numbers. And it was, so at the time I had little kids, I loved to barter. I would trade ads for circus tickets and birthday parties and gymnastics classes. My kids had an amazing childhood because of all this cool free stuff we got. So I was putting their ads in the magazine without being really conscious of the fact that I had to pay for every page in the magazine that I was printing. And so the number that I was not paying attention to was ratio of ads sold to number of pages printed. And it was like this crazy light bulb moment of, oh, that's where the money's going. Because I was going, where's all this money going? I couldn't figure out why we were going through income as fast as we were. And it was just that moment of kind of like reading Profit First. We were talking about that before we got on the interview. It was just that moment of, oh, it's so simple. But when I started my publishing company, Tiffany, I knew nothing. I didn't know anything about media. I didn't know anything about business. I had been a school teacher for many years and had worked at Claire's Jewelry, sold earrings, did a lot of babysitting. My job experience hadn't really prepared me for being an entrepreneur. And no one tells you, there's no manual. No one hands you this book and says, these are the 10 things, kind of like parenting. There's lots of parallels in my life between my parenting skills and my business skills, both kind of growing exponentially together. And I was a wife and a mom trying to raise 2 little kids. My kids were 3 and 1 when I started the business.
Oh my gosh.
And I know they were little, and it was such an amazing learning adventure. I also learned what I love and what I'm really good at, which is marketing and sales. I geek out about marketing and sales. Tiffany and I can talk about marketing all day long. And, it got to this point where we realized, because we started paying attention, that the business model was broken. And in order to have a profitable publishing company, I would need to have 2, 3, or 4 magazines. And again, that light bulb moment was, I don't want to work that hard for this business. This is not my lifetime legacy. This is not where I want to be spending time and energy. And at the time, we also were pretty committed to getting out of Texas and moving back to the West Coast, where we really wanted to be. So we made some decisions, and we sold the magazine and moved to Santa Barbara, California in 2012. And I started all over again with a coaching and training company. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be a relationship coach. Oh, I'm going to be a creativity coach. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I didn't want to talk about business. I did not want to talk about marketing. I had been in a deadline-driven industry for so long that I needed a break. And then everyone starts coming, but you're so good at business and you're so good at marketing. And you know how other people can see what you're good at, and you try to have blinders on and say, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
So I started down the path of supporting other women to grow their businesses. And what I realized was that, like me, they didn't know the right questions to ask about how to make a profit in their business. Mm-hmm. They were very focused on making money, and making money is completely separate from making a profit, and that they were actually not understanding their own business model, or they didn't have consciousness of what a business model was. Yeah. So I realized this is what I am passionate about, is making sure that if women are going to work as hard as it takes to build a business, that they have something to show for it besides just self-satisfaction, that they truly are building wealth and they're building profit, and that they're building a future for their families and their children, whether that's to send them to college or to spend summers in Bali, whatever it is, that you make sure that your business is really supporting your lifestyle instead of completely taking it over. And that path led us in 2015. Brad quit his full-time job to come work with me full-time in this business, which is an absolute dream come true. So we're in year 3 of working together, and it has been the most amazing, wonderful journey.
I love it.
So that was a long answer to your question.
It's great, and so much wisdom through the journey. I admire so many women that become entrepreneurs with young kids. It's just, being an entrepreneur is a journey itself, let alone parenting children as well. So, you've done all those things. But, yes, you and I were talking about reading the book Profit First. That was a game changer for me, because when you're in the infancy of your business, you're scrambling to make money and create products and serve and all these sorts of things. And although that's great, we're not taught how to keep that money and create ongoing wealth and build on that. And so Profit First was an absolute game changer for me, an absolute game changer, because, and you and I were talking about this earlier, specifically in the coaching world, there's this kind of curtain that's being pulled across of make 7 figures and 6 figures, and what's not being shown is that they're actually taking home very little, because they're spending so much money on advertising and marketing and seminars and things like that. And team as well. So there's ways that you can create wealth, and why we're being entrepreneurs is creating freedom. Yes. And living the life that we want, instead of being to the grindstone and constantly working, which is why we leave corporate in the first place.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about you is that you tap into the creativity of people. So can you share more about that, and how, because I know I watch you do these amazing paintings and you share them on Facebook as you're painting them as well. And it just blows my mind. And when you came to my branding workshop, you were constantly doodling and taking notes and things like that. She's just genius. So for the, you're an artist, but for the people that aren't necessarily artists per se, how do you help them tap into their own creativity? Because you have to be creative to be an entrepreneur.
I think creative and entrepreneur actually go together, even if people don't necessarily see that in themselves. And the more that we understand that whatever the genius is that we're bringing to the world, that is our creativity. And so I love Profit, but I'm also on this mission to help people really understand the difference between being an artist and being creative. Every human being is creative. What sets us apart as a species in the planet is our creativity and our ability to innovate and our ability to envision something that's better and different and new and fresh. And that can show up in painting and music, in photography, but it also shows up in coaching. It shows up in my husband, who's an amazing programmer and problem solver. Like, he thinks very creatively in the way that he sees software that to me is like Greek. I don't even want to know how things work, right? But for him, that's how his creativity is bringing out into the world. To have a mechanic who can look at an engine in a car and understand how all the pieces play together, or how they could be put together differently to make a car run more efficiently. That's creativity. So we're the more that we can own how the work we do is creative, then I think the happier we're all going to be. And can you do that through art? And do I personally recommend doing it through art? Yes. Even just starting to color in coloring books. There's a reason why the coloring book industry is so huge, and consistently on Amazon, the top sellers, in the top 5 bestsellers on Amazon, there's at least one coloring book.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because people are longing to tap into their creativity. And I think as women, when we get past sort of childbearing and we get to that point in our career where we've really gotten to a certain place of, wealth and knowledge and satisfaction, and then we're looking around going, something's missing. And they're not necessarily sure what that something is. And creativity is a brilliant way to reconnect with the other, I would say, spiritual, intuitive parts of ourselves that are maybe have been a little lost or a little buried, especially for women in corporate. So I see creativity as a tool that we can connect to in order to actually increase our prosperity as well as our own feeling of self-worth and success in the world.
I love it. Absolutely. And now you're inspiring me. My mum's actually super creative and very talented. And I'm like, now I need to get out my coloring pencils again. I used to do it a lot. I haven't recently. For me, I tap into my creativity through my business by creating things and writing things and things like that. But actually getting some coloring pencils or painting, you're right. It's so therapeutic.
It is.
If you think you're not good, you surprise yourself, I think.
And I think my biggest creativity has helped me in my business in ways that I never imagined, because what I've learned is that it's about the journey, not the destination. Right. So I have this one painting I've been working on, and this giant Buddha face that I was doing, and I just painted over it.
Was that the one that you showed on Facebook?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
I know, but I didn't love it. It wasn't the forever picture for that canvas. And so, as my husband said, I killed the Buddha, which is something they say in Buddhism. I've killed the Buddha. And it's like I got too attached to the painting, and it was keeping me up at night. And our business does this to us too. And right. What I've learned from my art is the power of letting go. And I think that oftentimes, again, it's this mindset piece, and so much about business has to start with the right mindset. Detachment from the outcomes, enjoy the journey, understanding the money will come. It's not going to come overnight. I don't care what anyone's trying to sell you on the internet. There is no such thing as overnight success or a get-rich-quick scheme. It's really not, right? It takes hard work to build this in a way that feels aligned with your core values, that really showcases your genius, and that doesn't kill you in the process.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. You've been in that place of burnout before.
Many times.
Don't want to go there again.
No, and I'm not. I refuse to. It was like such a habit for me to work, and then burn out and then get frustrated. And those were the times when the money would actually constrict, because I wasn't in my flow, wasn't in my creativity. I was worried and in scarcity mode. Burnout, constantly working to burn out is scarcity mode. That's not trusting that and allowing the flow of the universe to provide and show up. So it's a good habit to break, and it's something that we're often rewarded for as well, is like working really hard and hustling and making
it's the cult of busy, right? We have to eradicate this idea that our self-worth is attached to productivity
and money.
And money. Yeah.
And money,
Although I love the money. I mean,
I
I
was
love
about
making
to
money.
say,
I love getting paid for what I do, right? So, I think it's part of our own worth is really standing in our value and
yes.
really charging prices, especially in the coaching industry, that are intended to both support the client and us, so that no one is being burnt out or not feeling like they're getting value. So I think alignment with pricing is a big challenge for women in the coaching industry.
I agree, and I have to say I'm obsessed with money. I love it. Like I'm at the moment I'm obsessed with getting into real estate investment. And so you're from Texas, you get it. Like there's a lot of growth opportunity here. So I'm
Yeah.
constantly listening to real estate investment opportunities and learning that at the moment. And I love what I'm listening to. They're talking about it all starts with mindset.
Yes.
Multi-million dollar people teaching about real estate investment or even coaching business. From the ground up, it's mindset first, it's self-belief. I think the other thing is that we do undervalue our offerings and our services and our gifts, but there needs to be I think doesn't need to be, there's often, you said, embracing the journey, right? There's a journey of confidence that happens. And what frustrates me about the coaching industry is they're like, just charge more, just charge $20,000 programs or
That's not alignment.
and that's not alignment, because yes, that will help your income and your growth. But if you don't feel aligned, if you don't feel like you're offering the value of that, then that is total unalignment. And so there's a growth and a journey that I've even witnessed in myself, to the point now where I've kind of gone full circle, where I'm back to offering, and I have different variations, but lower cost opportunity for people that can't invest. Some people are just not there yet.
Yeah.
To stretch into a $12,000 or $24,000 program is a big stretch. And I've watched people get themselves into debt. They're not creating profit, all those sorts of things. And they're just in this vicious cycle.
And that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel in alignment. And because we work with the creative community, there are a lot of people that need the business, tactical, strategic support that don't need a $12,000 program. And so one of our places of alignment this year was we looked at all of that, just like you. We have a $49 a month membership program that we launched in January, because you need the skills, but you don't have to go broke getting them. Right. And so it feels so good to know that what I'm putting out there, that there's a place for everyone. Like I am so happy at being able to have a place where I can meet people wherever they're at. And like you, we have all those bigger price programs too, and so, but there's a place and a time for each person. And also noticing that it's a very different place in people's business where we meet them.
Right.
And the people who can really benefit from that higher level program are further along in their business development. It has nothing to do actually with how much money they have or how much they can afford to spend, right? You need those foundations in place. And I think Profit First is such a great example of understanding how to put those foundations in place and to make smart money decisions. Yeah. I know I've made a lot of really stupid money decisions, or not stupid so much as thoughtless.
Or unaware. I think when we're unaware and we're not taught, and I have too, and that's why I'm such a big advocate of putting money aside each month into your profit account that you don't see. And this is what Profit First basically teaches. And I know you teach this to your clients as well, because it's like however big the plate is, we eat it all, right? So it's basically a really simple process with the way that we work. You take that money out, you put it aside, you don't see it, and then you watch it accumulate. And it teaches you how to start to pay yourself first. So
it does.
I'm addicted to it. I'm a huge advocate for it.
And just getting used to that one piece is so important. What you said there, getting into the habit of paying yourself first. Like, duh.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, and so just through my own journey of like, duh, why didn't I think of that? Just encouraging women, especially anyone listening to this, start paying yourself, like making sure that your business and your personal expenses are completely separate. And that every week, even if it's $20, that you move $20 from your business account to your personal account and just get into the habit. And it feels so empowering to watch that money. Like when I log into our accounts and I see the profit account and the owner pay account, and there's still money in the operating expenses account. It's like, oh, wow, the system works when you work the system. But it all goes back, I think, to that mindset piece and really acknowledging that we have a relationship with money. Yeah. And that the healthier that relationship is, the more successful we're going to be. That abundance and wealth are a mindset.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just talking about valuing ourselves as well, and the lower priced offerings and the higher priced offerings. I tried something totally new where I'm creating my sister suppers as a movement. Yeah. I've told you about, and I got so stuck in trying to create it as a profitable business that I forgot the cause behind why I was doing it. So now that I just wiped the slate clean and it's totally free, and I'm just going to support and allow it to grow until I see what the business model is, because I do believe that when you're in the right mindset and you're creating abundance and money, and then you're coming from a place of giving, and you've got that kind of foundation and that stability as well, by the way. I'm not just advocating everyone just goes and creates a whole business for free, because that's not sustainable.
No.
But if
you already have things going, right? Yes. This is that get one thing going really well before you add the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just wiped the slate clean, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to allow this to grow, because it's its own movement, it's its own form. And then I'm going to see what comes up. This is the flow part that you were talking about as well, and the trust of what the business model is to make it sustainable as well. Because there is such a thing as putting skin in the game as well, the way people want to show up. So
there is, but when you, and I think it's also that internal adjustment for women, that it's okay to monetize connection and community.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And I've been doing it really well.
Yes, you have.
I didn't realize I was doing it to start. So it's been such a gift for me. And, if somebody said to me, 3 years ago when I started my business, this is what your business is going to look like today, I would have been, you're nuts, you're crazy. I had no idea. So just allowing the steps to take you where you're meant to go. We're still having a goal and a vision.
Yes.
It's the journey. I love that you said that. It's being in that journey and trusting that journey. So what do you think it takes? You're a successful businesswoman. You've created successful businesses in the past. You shared a big lesson on, what was going wrong in the publishing, your process around understanding what's happening in your publishing business. Like, what would be, and we've shared a lot. So aside from what we've already shared, what would you say the single biggest lesson that you've learned that you want everyone to take away with them?
Know your numbers.
Yes.
Know your numbers. As I did a workshop a couple of weekends ago, and at the end of the workshop, one of the ladies, when I went around and said, what was your biggest takeaway? She said, I have to get intimate with my numbers. And I love that. So get intimate with your numbers. And underneath knowing your numbers, it starts with simply tracking your income every day.
Yep. Yeah, it's not that hard, and it's not that scary, and it's actually empowering.
Yeah, because numbers just tell a story. Right? There's all kinds of jokes we could tell about accountants who get really creative with numbers, but that's not the point, right? But when you do get to know your numbers, you get to make completely different decisions about where to spend your time, your energy, your marketing efforts, everything, right? So it's just know your numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have a free gift for us. Please share.
I do. I have a super fun free gift for you. So I have a fun process called Money, Meditation, and Mandalas. It combines a coloring book with a powerful manifestation process where literally you're meditating and coloring mandalas on a daily basis and using affirmations to just stay connected for 21 days to the energy of money. So it's not even about the tracking part or the numbers part. It's really working on the mindset piece to build consciousness around what you believe to be true about money and what you would love to believe to be true about money.
You've told me about that a while ago. I need to get myself that. I need to get out my coloring pencils and do that myself. I need to show up for that. Absolutely. So one last question before you go. What gets you into a happy place? Like, what would make you do a happy dance? What excites you and gets you giddy?
Oh, so many things. Wow, that's a really hard question. You'd think that would be easy. I think painting is one, but I love being in front of a room full of people. Nothing makes me happier than leading a workshop or doing a speaking opportunity. I, like you, love my alone time, but I totally get giddy when I get to stand up in front of a room full of women and see those creative light bulbs go off around their businesses.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that and can totally relate as well.
Yeah.
All right, my love, it's so good to have you on here. Thank you for sharing this immense amount of wisdom. I love you dearly and
Love
just
you too.
appreciate everything that you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So excited to be here.